Have you seen enough from Baker to say that he should be the starter?
Yep. Look, this is the opposite of what I normally argue in this situation. You don't start your top rookie quarterback, particularly if you have a viable option already on the team. Why would you do that? Because if he starts to falter, you have a quarterback controversy, the town starts rumbling, and if they can map all their hopes and dreams onto the backup, of course, he's perfect, and Tyrod Taylor is good. And so, now you take the rookie out, and now you really have a problem. But if you do it the other way, and the veteran starts to falter, bring in the rookie, and everything's good. In this case, that doesn't apply. In this case, Baker Mayfield, the reason I believed he was correctly the #1 pick, and I know Sam Darnold, people really like him on the Jets, and he seems to be the guy, and he may go on to be an excellent quarterback. But Baker Mayfield has that extra something that makes guys want to play with him and for him. He's got it. Like sometimes you can see these guys, that guy's got it. People wondered that about Johnny Manziel. He simply wasn't talented or disciplined enough to make it on the next level. I don't think that's Baker Mayfield. And when you have that guy, and you're the Cleveland Browns, and you've been looking for him all this time, and he's played so well in the preseason. I think Hugh Jackson got this idea in his head. He is definitely not starting no matter what, so he's not getting reps with the first team and all that. It doesn't make sense to me. Tyrod Taylor has shown flashes. I think he is a good quarterback. I don't think he's a bad one, but I do believe he's fool's gold. He may give you, in the very short term, an even better chance to win than Baker Mayfield does. But I don't think he's the long-term solution. And I think whether the Browns changed course or not, Stephen A., in midstream and now have to adjust, maybe they weren't planning on taking Baker or the first overall pick. Maybe they were thinking Saquon, and the more they looked into it, the more they said, no, Baker. Nevertheless, you got your guy, you got your franchise quarterback. He's looked excellent in preseason. Start him week 1.
Well, you're wrong. But I applaud your consistency because you've consistently taken that position because you were an advocate of him going #1 overall. So I definitely applaud the consistency. But you're wrong. And the reason why you're wrong is because we're talking about the Cleveland Browns here. We don't just get to look at Baker Mayfield. He's got promise. He's the #1 overall pick. Last time I checked, everybody knows that he's the franchise. He's the face of the franchise. It's not just his skill set, the fact that he completed 70% of his passes last year at Oklahoma. He started his career walking on a football team. He's that kind of competitor. We understand it. We get it. We've got mad respect for him and what have you. And we expect the Cleveland Browns to ride that wave into the future, particularly when you consider his leadership and improvisational skills, which is what they rave about with him, even more so, obviously, than the Tyrod Taylor. But you have to understand why Tyrod Taylor is in Cleveland to begin with. He's the security blanket. Why? Because Cleveland has a history of messing stuff up at the quarterback spot. Not just on guys who they pass on along the way, but also most recently Carson Wentz, for crying out loud, but also the kind of quarterbacks that they put in place. You go down the list right here: Brady Quinn, Colt McCoy, Brandon Weeden, Jason Campbell, this kid Hover, Josh McCown, Kessler, Deshaun Kaiser. The list goes on and on. This organization messes stuff up for precisely the reason that you're proclaiming they need to put Baker Mayfield in there, because they get somebody in the mix and they say, we've got to do this now because this is what this guy gives us. They have messed it up. It's been straight garbage off Lake Erie, and this man's not going to fall into Lake Erie. He ain't going to be chilling inside the dog pound, for crying out loud. He's going to be on the sideline ready to come in. I'm not saying he shouldn't play. I'm simply saying to start the season, he should not be in the starting lineup immediately. Wait a little while, get him even more ready than these 2 preseason games, by the way, and then just go from there, as opposed to rushing it and putting all your eggs in that basket from week 1, because with the Browns, it doesn't work.
If he showed you so far he's not ready, I would agree. But the way Dak Prescott showed in the preseason a couple years ago, you said, whoa, who's that guy?
Not the same.
That guy is your quarterback. Baker Mayfield has that and maybe then some. He's ready to play. And when you draft the guy #1 overall, that's your franchise.
Has he been better than Tyrod Taylor in preseason?
No.
Well,
has he been better than Tyrod Taylor
has a lot more experience.
But you brought up Dak Prescott.
Because as good as Tyrod Taylor, as Baker Mayfield's been, Tyrod Taylor's been even better. The reason I call it fool's gold is We've seen a lot of Tyrod Taylor, and he can make you believe, if you squint sometimes, he's going to be a star quarterback. But what we find is he is something less than a franchise quarterback.
I want to go to Dak Prescott because you brought up Dak Prescott. What you're missing is that Tony Romo was hurt, so all Dallas had was Dak Prescott. In the case of Cleveland, you have Tyrod Taylor, who has performed better than Baker Mayfield in the preseason.
Okay, that's a fact. I just want to say this. Guys, you know I'm really excited about tonight. Obviously, we say Game 3. That's the dress rehearsal because we're actually going to get to see two things. We're going to get to see Baker Mayfield going against a real Super Bowl winning defense in the Eagles, and then we also get to see Tyrod Taylor. And we've heard that this Browns team could potentially make a huge jump this year and see if they're actually legit also going against this defense. So I'll be scouting this one.
That's from them, the Browns. You ain't hear nobody else say that.
We'll see.